And welcome back to Daily Wrap. Before we jump back in, let's jump on board, shall we? Newsmax wants to send one lucky couple on a 7-day Silver Sea cruise to the Caribbean this winter. Ooh. Obviously, a luxury cruise, Pete, on the Silver Wind is the trip of a lifetime. To win, however, you need to enter our sweepstakes. Visit newsmax.com/sweepstakes to enter. That's newsmax.com/sweepstakes. Okay, before we get to potluck time, we do have breaking news, and Rick Unger, what do you got?
Very important breaking news. The Los Angeles Times is reporting that Tom Selleck has settled his dispute over stealing water with the district that provided the water.
Really?
That's crucial. You asked what the big story of the day is. That clearly has now taken the place
unfortunately,
of Iran.
TC from Magnum PI was driving the water truck.
We really are in the Wayback Machine here.
Water shaming!
Water shaming.
We give you everything you need here tonight.
We ask the question, though, we have to.
And
Why is Tom Selleck stealing water?
He's got an avocado.
I know, but he could afford to pay for it.
He could, but he's crafty.
Somebody has to wash the
And he's a
Magnum car.
Republican.
Is he?
Just saying. Oh, yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, it's potluck time.
So much for free.
This is the part of the show where we go around the table and share our favorite stories of the day. Brad Hirschfield, are we talking Magnum? Are we talking something else?
We are not. In fact, I love the setup because whatever I bring now is going to look genius compared to this.
Ooh.
So we are talking Bernie Sanders. And believe it or not, I could probably fill the next 2.5 minutes with all the things I think Bernie Sanders is wrong about. I'm just listing them, not the analysis, just the list.
Okay.
But I'd rather spend that much time calling attention to why on one issue he may be the smartest guy running for president. Really, and the issue is guns and how we relate to weapons in America. Now, he gets a D- from the NRA, which in my book is probably a good thing. But it also turns out he voted against legislation that would hold gun makers responsible for things that were done with guns they produce. In other words, he wasn't looking to widen the range of bad guys on this issue as much as possible. He was looking about what would be good law and what would help us address gun violence in America. Watch this from an interview earlier.
Okay.
If somebody has a gun and it falls into the hands of a murderer and that murderer kills somebody with the gun, do you hold the gun manufacturer responsible? Not any more than you would hold a hammer company responsible if somebody beats somebody over the head with a hammer. That is not what a lawsuit should be about.
I apologize, by the way. I thought we were going to have Bernie Sanders, but we had Larry David for whatever reason. It's the same.
There is a certain similarity, I'll grant you that, except he's more reasonable than Larry David about most things.
Great argument, though, he just made.
Right, and that's the point. He wasn't looking to simply point fingers and find the bad guy. He was asking about what would be good law and not how do we find some business to blame for what someone else did with a weapon. And I think even more importantly, he acknowledges that most people are actually responsible with their use of weapons, and at the same time, this country does have a very serious gun violence problem. He has an approach to dealing with it, which you're going to see right now.
Okay.
Folks who do not like guns is fine. But we have millions of people who are gun owners in this country. 99.9% of those people obey the law. I want to see real serious debate and action on guns. But it is not going to take place if we simply have extreme positions on both sides. I think I can bring us to the middle.
He's absolutely right. Now, he may be exaggerating the 99.9%.
Yeah.
I think that's a little high, but what he's fundamentally correct about, if we keep having a conversation in which one side screams, it's my Second Amendment right to have a nuclear weapon mounted to the back of my pickup truck, and the other side says every weapon that was ever produced is inherently evil, and anyone who ever picks up a gun clearly is some kind of homicidal maniac in the making, what we're going to do is stay exactly in the cul-de-sac we've got. The gun violence problem will not get better. The American body politic will be ever more divided. I don't know if I think Bernie Sanders is the person to lead anyone to the middle of anything exactly, but I think he does have a plan and an approach here where he's completely right.
The only thing he comes across as completely credible and honest.
Totally
is what,
sincere.
yet again, you can
Well,
disagree with him, but
he always does, the same way Ron Paul does, in terms of honest. It doesn't look like he's bought and paid for by special interests. But it will take issue with you and the way that Senator Sanders framed this, in that the two sides. There aren't two sides to this issue in terms of who's getting what they want. The pro-gun side has everything they want. everything. There's nothing they have. There's nothing that they want left. There isn't some idea that they want. They can get any kind of gun. They can get almost as many bullets as they want. There are some state regulations, like in New York State, that people are unhappy with. But for the most part, federally, what don't they have? So the kind of the gun control side makes no progress. They haven't made progress since they passed a bad rule, a bad law, the assault weapon ban, which did nothing. We've got nothing on the gun control side. The pro-gun side has everything they want.
So here's what I have to ask. First of all, they don't have everything they want. You'd have to ask them, not me, because I'm closer to you, probably matters of policy. But here's what we know. If we keep saying you have everything and we have nothing, we stay in the cul-de-sac. If we start to say, okay, we want to change this conversation and not lash out, right? Believe me, if there was a Wayne LaPierre fan club, head of the NRA, I'd be the last member. We won't get there by shouting at other people.
How
we'll
dare
get there by
you.
being smart about what
Wayne
Okay,
LaPierre's a
last
great
word
American.
on that. Good job, Brad. Up next, yay or nay, this is the Daily Wrap. Stay tuned.